Pain is physical. Suffering is mental. Beyond the mind, there is no suffering. Pain is merely a signal that the body is in danger and requires attention. Similarly, suffering warns us that the structure of memories and habits, which we call the person, is threatened by loss or change. Pain is essential for the survival of the body, but none compels you to suffer. Suffering is due entirely to clinging or resisting. It is a sign of our unwillingness to move on, to flow with life. As a sane life is free of pain, so is a saintly life free from suffering. The urge to find oneself is a sign that you are getting ready. The impulse always comes from within. Unless your time has come, you will have neither the desire nor the strength to go for self-inquiry wholeheartedly. How do I find a guru whom I can trust? Your own heart will tell you. There is no difficulty in finding a guru, because the guru is in search of you. The guru is always ready. You are not ready. You have to be ready to learn, or you may meet your guru and waste your chance by sheer inattentiveness and obstinacy. Take my example. There was nothing in me of much promise, but when I met my guru, I listened, trusted, and obeyed. The only way you can judge is by the change in yourself when you are in his company. If you feel more at peace and happy, if you understand yourself with more than usual clarity and depth, it means you have met the right person. Take your time, but once you have made up your mind to trust him absolutely, and follow every instruction fully and faithfully. It does not matter much if you do not accept him as your guru and are satisfied with his company only. Satsang alone can also take you to your goal, provided it is unmixed and undisturbed. But once you accept somebody as your guru, listen, remember, obey. What is the motive? Why does the guru take so much trouble? Sorrow and the ending of sorrow. He sees people suffering in their dreams, and he wants them to wake up. Love is intolerant of pain and suffering. The patience of a guru has no limits, and therefore it cannot be defeated. The guru never fails. The entire universe is your guru. You learn from everything if you are alert and intelligent. Were your mind clear and your heart clean, you would learn from every passerby. It is because you are indolent or restless that your inner self manifests as the outer guru and makes you trust him and obey. Is a guru inevitable? It is like asking, is a mother inevitable? To rise in consciousness from one dimension to another, you need help. The help may not always be in the shape of a human person. It may be a subtle presence or a spark of intuition, but help must come. The inner self is watching and waiting for the son to return to his father. At the right time, he arranges everything affectionately and effectively. Where a messenger is needed or a guide, he sends the guru to do the needful. You have brought in duality where there is none. There is the body and there is the self. Between them is the mind, in which the self is reflected as I am. Because of the imperfections of the mind, its crudity and restlessness, lack of discernment and insight, it takes itself to be the body, not the self. All that is needed is to purify the mind so that it can realize its identity with the self. When the mind merges in the self, the body presents no problems. It remains what it is, an instrument of cognition and action, the tool and the expression of the creative fire within. The ultimate value of the body is that it serves to discover the cosmic body, which is the universe in its entirety. As you realize yourself in manifestation, you keep on discovering that you are ever more than what you have imagined. Is there no end to self-discovery? As there is no beginning, there is no end. But what I have discovered by the grace of my Guru is, I am nothing that can be pointed at. I am neither of this nor of that. This holds absolutely. What is lower and what is higher? Look at it in terms of awareness. Wider and deeper consciousness is higher. All that lives works for protecting, perpetuating, and expanding consciousness. This is the world's sole meaning and purpose. It is the very essence of yoga, ever raising the level of consciousness, discovery of new dimensions with their properties, qualities, and powers. In that sense, the entire universe becomes a school of yoga. Is perfection the destiny of all human beings, of all living beings, ultimately? Once a living being has heard and understood that deliverance is within his reach, he will never forget, for it is the first message from within. It will take root and grow, and in due course take the blessed shape of the Guru. The mind goes astray, the mind returns home. Even the word astray is not proper. The mind must know itself in every mood. Nothing is a mistake unless repeated. Keep the I am in the focus of awareness. Remember that you are. Watch yourself ceaselessly, and the unconscious will flow into the conscious without any special effort on your part. There are no steps to self-realization. Pain is not acceptable. Why not? Did you ever try? Do try, and you will find in pain a joy which pleasure cannot yield, for the simple reason that acceptance of pain takes you much deeper than pleasure does. The personal self, by its very nature, is constantly pursuing pleasure and avoiding pain. The ending of this pattern is the ending of the self. The ending of the self with its desires and fears enables you to return to your real nature, the source of all happiness and peace. The perennial desire for pleasure is the reflection of the timeless harmony within. It is an observable fact that one becomes self-conscious only when caught in the conflict between pleasure and pain, which demands choice and decision. It is this clash between desire and fear that causes anger, which is the great destroyer of sanity in life. When pain is accepted for what it is, a lesson and a warning, and deeply looked into and heeded, the separation between pain and pleasure breaks down. Both become experience, painful when resisted, joyful when accepted. Accept both as they come. Enjoy both while they last. Let them go as they must. The bliss is in the awareness of it, in not shrinking or in any way turning away from it. All happiness comes from awareness. The more we are conscious, the deeper the joy. Acceptance of pain, non-resistance, courage, and endurance. These open deep and perennial sources of real happiness, true bliss. This is the great work of awareness. It removes obstacles and releases energies by understanding the nature of life and mind. Intelligence is the door to freedom, and alert attention is the mother of intelligence. Everything has a beginning and an end, and so does pleasure. Don't anticipate and don't regret, and there will be no pain. It is memory and imagination that cause suffering. Of course, pain after pleasure may be due to the misuse of the body or the mind. The body knows its measure, but the mind does not. Its appetites are numberless and limitless. Watch your mind with great diligence, for there lies your bondage and also the key to freedom. When the mind takes over, remembers and anticipates, it exaggerates, it distorts, it overlooks. The past is projected into the future, and the future betrays the expectations. The organs of sensation and action are stimulated beyond capacity, and they inevitably break down. The objects of pleasure cannot yield what is expected of them, and get worn out or destroyed by misuse. It results in excessive pain where pleasure was looked for. Naturally, selfishness is always destructive. Desire and fear both are self-centered states. Between desire and fear, anger arises. With anger, hatred. With hatred, passion for destruction. War is hatred in action, organized and equipped with all the instruments of death. Is there a way to end these horrors? When more people come to know their real nature, their influence, however subtle, will prevail, and the world's emotional atmosphere will sweeten up. People follow their leaders, and when among the leaders appear some great in heart and mind, and absolutely free from self-seeking, their impact will be enough to make the crudities and crimes of the present age impossible. A new golden age may come and last for a time, and succumb to its own perfection. For ebb begins when the tide is at its highest. Which world do you have in mind? Our common world in which we live. Are you sure we live in the same world? I do not mean nature, the sea and the land, plants and animals. They are not the problem, nor the endless space, the infinite time, the inexhaustible power. Do not be misled by my eating and smoking, reading and talking. My mind is not here. My life is not here. Your world of desires and their fulfillment, of fears and their escapes, is definitely not my world. I do not even perceive it, except through what you tell me about it, It is your private dream world, and my only reaction to it is to ask you to stop dreaming. Of course, facts are real. I live among them, but you live with fancies, not with facts. Facts never clash, while your life and world are full of contradictions. Contradiction is the mark of the false. The real never contradicts itself. For instance, you complain that people are abjectly poor, yet you do not share your riches with them. You mind the war next door, but you hardly give it a thought when it is in some far-off country. The shifting fortunes of your ego determine your values. I think, I want, I must are made into absolutes. Insanity is universal. Sanity is rare. Yet there is hope, because the moment we perceive our insanity, we are on the way to sanity. This is the function of the Guru, to make us see the madness of our daily living. Life makes you conscious, but the teacher makes you aware. Man is stupid, selfish, and cruel. Man is also wise, affectionate, and kind. Why does not goodness prevail? It does, in my real world. In my world, even what you call evil is the servant of the good, and therefore necessary. It is like boils and fevers that clear the body of impurities. Disease is painful, even dangerous, but if dealt with rightly, it heals or kills. In some cases, death is the best cure. A life may be worse than death, which is but rarely an unpleasant experience, whatever the appearances. Therefore, pity the living, never the dead. This problem of things, good and evil in themselves, does not exist in my world. The needful is good, and the needless is evil. In your world, the pleasant is good, and the painful is evil. What is necessary? To grow is necessary. To outgrow is necessary. To leave behind the good for the sake of the better is necessary. To what end? The end is in the beginning. You end where you start, in the absolute. Why all this trouble then, to come back to where I started? Whose trouble? Which trouble? Do you pity the seed that is to grow and multiply till it becomes a mighty forest? Do you kill an infant to save him from the bother of living? What is wrong with life, ever more life? Remove the obstacles to growing, and all your personal, social, economic, and political problems will just dissolve. The universe is perfect as a whole, and the parts striving for perfection is a way of joy. Willingly sacrifice the imperfect to the perfect, and there will be no more talk about good and evil. Yet we are afraid of the better and cling to the worse. This is our stupidity, verging on insanity. A jnani may meet with difficulties, but they do not make him suffer. Bringing up a child from birth to maturity may seem a hard task, but to a mother, the memories of hardships are a joy. There is nothing wrong with the world. What is wrong is the way you look at it. It is your own imagination that misleads you. Without imagination, there is no world. You are the space, Akash, in which it moves, the time in which it lasts, the love that gives it life. Cut off imagination and attachment, and what remains? In my world, love is the only law. I do not ask for love, I give it. Such is my nature. Some repetitive routine is inevitable. Even animals and plants have their timetables. Everything moves according to its nature. Where is the need of a policeman? Every action creates a reaction, which balances and neutralizes the action. Everything happens, but there is a continuous canceling out. And in the end, it is as if nothing happened. Explanations are meant to please the mind. They need not be true. Reality is indefinable and indescribable. The objective universe has structure, is orderly and beautiful. Nobody can deny it. But structure and pattern imply constraint and compulsion. My world is absolutely free. Everything in it is self-determined. Therefore, I keep on saying that all happens by itself. There is order in my world too. but it is not imposed from outside. It comes spontaneously and immediately because of its timelessness. Perfection is not in the future. It is now.